Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is LolaAjisafe here. Now, we are now beginning a new season of Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 4. Episode 1, the title episode is MarsoMessy. Like, Marso is messy, we know this, but he's the villain we love to hate. Before we start, housekeeping rules. First thing first, don't forget to like the video. I really do appreciate all the likes that have been coming in so far. Thank you so much. And probably more importantly, drop a comment, a word, what your opinion is. It's been a minute. We had that, I think it was 3 episodes of the reunion, so there's a lot to kind of tie in and see how it is going. And they started with a bang. And then finally, if you haven't subscribed and you want to stop shagging out with me, do not forget to hit the subscribe button down here. All right, let's go. So first thing first, they open the scene, Marso is sitting down with Tisha. Like, Tisha is complicit in whatever Marso is doing. Like, at this point, I think first season I was really kind of irritated by Marso's position, like how he was. He was very, in the beginning, very first season, he still is arrogant, he's still Marso, but I guess understanding him and seeing that Tisha is complicit in what he does and his Jedi mind tricks. I'm not mad at him anymore. I'm just watching how it plays out.
The best thing for me right now is to know the man I'm married to and not listen to people who have no idea what our daily lives is all about.
So they start the scene off with, he's talking about, I think she mentioned it first. Apparently, Marso, he went, and I usually don't like the term, he went to Africa. Africa's a continent. They didn't tell, where in Africa did he go? Did he go to South Africa? Did he go to Nigeria? But anyway, turns out traveled to the continent of Africa because he was feeling depleted, wanted something different. But at this point in time, he didn't want to go with his wife. He wanted to go by himself. Now, this did happen, if I remember correctly. This kind of thing did happen with, I want to say it was Alicia Keys many years ago when she first, hit the scene. She just, needed a break from everyone and went off to Egypt for, I think she said 3 weeks. So I get him wanting to travel out, but truthfully, when you're a married man with children, it really is hard to just say, hey, yeah, I'm having a meltdown, I need to go. But then again, if it really is, then you need to do self-care, wellness. He does need to go. So anyway, he went. But he just, I don't know how I presented it, Tisha, but anyway, Tisha has still heard about it, so maybe they didn't have a complete conversation. I can't be mad at him either way, but he does come up with a good point in his conversation where he was saying that he got to a point where, I'm summarizing, in terms of him understanding that he felt like he was a part of the rat race and just wanted to step off. And now, as he's been pursuing money, he realizes that there's a point in time where he has to decide what's more important: quality time with family, loved ones, recharging himself, or just chasing more money just to buy more things as opposed to peace of mind. And that's when we talk about the rat race. I get what he's saying. No one can ever say Marso is not smart. I've always said that Marso is smart. Like I've said, top of the episode, he's the villain we love to hate. But here it goes. What did Marso do between the last time we saw him and now? Remember the reunion where they had talked about, I don't want to call this poor lady Coleslaw, but Arionne Curry, aka Coleslaw, had this revealed sit-down interview with my sis Tasha K, and had been very arrogant and really not apologetic for the part she played in the breakdown of Martel's marriage. Not to say that he played the biggest part, but she also participated. So she wasn't really apologetic into the whole thing. But anyway, during that interview, she talked about how she had hung out with the guys and they were complicit in the affair, and also had insinuated that the guys were also cheating, which is why they were implicit in her affair with Martel. So one of the big questions during that episode was, were you there? Were you there when this thing occurred, when Arionne, when they went to Atlanta, who was there present and participating and being, I guess, complicit in their presence just by being there? Were they there when Arionne was with Martel? Marcel said, yeah, he was there. Maurice said he wasn't there. So when the reunion wrapped, Marcel, Messy Boots Marcel, decided he was going to show the public and tell us, instead of talking to his brother one-on-one, that, yo, I'm not the only villain here, like, you a villain too, like. So he ends up posting a picture of all of them in the picture. Now, looking like, not looking like, definitely it showed that Maurice had misspoken. I'm not going to say he was a liar. He misspoke when he said he was not complicit and he wasn't present when Arionne was with Martel. So that was the point he was trying to prove. And I guess, social media blew up, and I mean a lot of stuff came down on the Scott brothers, and so we open up the season with, you know, everyone kind of opening and talking about it. So of course, with this flashback onto Marso, of course it spills onto Tisha. Like at this point, I do see Tisha, I'm sorry, like, you know, sometimes, you know, she's a casualty of war. So when people are firing at, you know, Marceau, they're going to fire at Tisha too. So that's the conversation that's going on here. And then of course, you know, Tisha gets excited. She starts talking about Arionne, now still giving credence to Arionne when she says that she's material for the season. And at the same time, you know, Marceau, a smart man, says, sis, stop. But, you know, Tisha's so excited, she almost can't hold herself. But eventually they cut the conversation. You know, I guess the real question is, why did Marceau really post that? We know that, yeah, he wanted a joke on, but as smart as he is, he must have made a calculated risk. But why?
Guys, real talk though, don't you feel like you owe me an apology?
Maurice, stop.
You're the one who put me in the midst of mess.
No, you put yourself in the midst of mess by answering that question like you never been there.
He knew that him posting that picture would get things alight, but he was so intent on shooting at his brother, and this happens, I guess, with siblings, so intent on shooting his brother that he was willing to lose an arm as well. Next scene, we have Martel, you know, meeting up with Big Lou. You know, as we can see, it looked like Martel's put on like 15 pounds of muscle, because he says that's his happy place, that's his place of wellness with all the stress that he created. Now he's trying to escape it by being in the gym. So they meet up in the gym. Why is Martel still harping on Mel? So it looks like he's met up with Lou just to sit down and start tearing down Mel again about what she isn't doing or what she is doing. You know, then they start. At this point, I think we all understand that when they have their cue cards, when they're meant to meet, not cue cards, when they're meant to meet to film a scene, both parties can agree that this is what we're going to discuss while filming. So of course they talk about, you know, he decides to talk about, yeah, what he think Mel is not doing, and of course they want to touch on, he wants to continue to push the narrative that, yeah, Mel was cheating before, when he just want to push this narrative of Mel cheating, because he feels that he has lost a lot. But the thing is, I think what Martel has not realized, and nothing may change until he does realize this, is that he needs to be focused on what he's accountable for, not what Mel is. He's the one who's been cheating with the same woman for 5 years. He's the one, well, it's probably more than that now, it's probably 6-7 years. He's the one in the midst of cheating. He now impregnated this lady, not once, not twice. I think the third time was the time when she decided to keep the pregnancy. He's the one who during COVID was going in, you know, leaving the household to go and meet this woman. So at this point, it's like he needs to be accountable, and that's us as human beings. You can't change the other person, even if what he's saying about Mel is true. He has no business. That's not his business. You can't control another human being, or you shouldn't even want to. He should be more concerned with what I did. Do I recognize this as wrong? And how do I fix it? What do I need to do? How do I change and turn it around? But he's still so focused on someone else that he's not focused on him. So he's in the same place he was when they first got divorced, or before they got divorced. Hence, I think he's still having the same financial issues because he can't see. And of course, it's easier for us to see where he's coming short, where he falls short. And that's the same thing with other people. A lot of times we're so focused on what the other person did that we don't turn around and say, okay, what did I did? And what do I need to fix myself to heal and move on? So it's literally, I give the analogy of, it looks like Martel is literally in a car saying he wants to go somewhere, but he has his head turned and it's like he's reversing. He can't move forward until he starts looking forward. He keeps looking back and pointing fingers at somebody else. He needs to look at himself. And if you were still seeing Dr. Francis, one of my favorite docs in the area, I don't know him, but just know him from the show, and I like the way he speaks. He's a straight speaker. If he really sat down and did the work that Dr. Francis put ahead of him, he might realize that this is what's going on. We may see a change as the season unfolds, but right now, Martel still looks like he's the same Martel. So of course, once they start talking about, you know, how, you know, trying to stir up Mel's cheating, you know, he also stirs up, you know, the fact why the other castmates were putting some heat, giving, you know, Lou and his messy wife Tiffany some smoke. And I think all of us that watch that season can see why. Like, it almost, I don't know why it's a blind spot both for the couple and Martel as to why they're getting smoke from the rest of the cast members. It's clear to us, like, actually, you know what? They do have something in common with Martel. because all they seem to be doing, Lou and his wife, although Lou less so than his wife, is pointing out other things about other people. When they talked about, Maurice's son and what happened, we didn't hear anything about their son or what was going on with their kids. No. But they won't talk about somebody else's kids and couldn't acknowledge that, we shouldn't have done it, and zipped it. They're still like, why is everyone so focused on us and saying that we're not transparent? No, you guys are not transparent. You're very good at being transparent about other people's tea, but not about your own. And then, of course, you have to be literally forced into revealing, no. Everybody has some mess. The thing is, when you're considered transparent is when you're talking about yourself, not about somebody else's kid, not about somebody else's marriage, about yourself. So I guess now I'm not so confused as to why Martell is stunned as to why people have issue with Lou, because Martell does the same thing. He won't talk about everybody else's stuff, but he don't want to acknowledge that this is what I did and I shouldn't have done. They go into the Marceau versus Maurice T stuff, and I guess, you know what I think? I think at this point, and I want to say both, and this is why I feel Martell and Mel originally were a great couple. They have some things in common. And one of these things, I think both of them are now enjoying the fact, like, some of the hot tea being spilt is not about them. So Martell is reveling in the fact that the mess that's been started by Marceau posting that picture is not about him. Like, he's been burned. Like, he burned on the stake, been burnt to death. He's laying down. Now they're coming for more people. And I feel a big part, and it's human nature, a big part of Martell is enjoying this, that other cast members are feeling some of the heat he has felt in the past. Because he's saying they're like, yeah, it's sad, but no, at the same time, Martell, you look like you're enjoying it. I don't know. That's what I get from him. This final scene he has here, Martell was talking about how he felt that, of course, we've already discussed, Martell still has no accountability. There was a part in his confessional where he was saying if his cheating hadn't been, told to the world and spread out, if it had been, so he's implying if he feels that everything would have been fine, both with him, his financial situation, and even his marriage, if Mel had not told everyone about him cheating. All right, so first thing first, Martell, if you can hear the sound of my voice, you're a handsome man, but beyond that, I don't know what else to tell you. But the truth here is that as an adult, you agreed and you signed up for a reality show. A reality show means real. The reality show means we're not going to be talking about what we saw on TV, like I am. We're going to be talking about you and what's going on with you. So how do you now know that you're in a clandestine affair that's going on? It was going on before filming started. It's going on, and then you think, if you continue it, it won't somehow be revealed either through Mel or finally through the other lady who after a while will feel cheated, because that's why she has this sense of entitlement. She really feels that she should be in the spotlight as well. So it was going to be one or the other, but someone was going to reveal it. Well, you know what they say? Everything hidden in the dark comes out in the day, comes out in the sunlight. The sun will finally expose everything. Everything finally comes to light. But he's still sitting there feeling like it should have been hidden. They should have covered him. So we'll from the next scene. It's, they're showing us my girl Kimmy, with her husband, who's now in the headlines. He's never usually in the headlines. He's always the good guy. Now he's in the headlines. So Maurice is here. And so I guess they want to use the scene to address, what's been said. So she goes on, she's talking, she's got this new dog Zeus, and that's, that's the only person she can get unconditional love from. She's, then they're opening into what happened. What I've seen that's what the Scott brothers have in common, and that's Maurice and Marceau, because I know they're other brothers, but those two is like, they have this attitude or energy of, I don't care. This I don't care attitude. And what that does is, fair enough, you can say I don't care, but particularly when you have partners who are affiliated with you, know that when the smoke comes to you, comes also to your partners. So that attitude of I don't care really needs to be put in a bag. It needs to be tied up and thrown away, because you're now affecting your partners as well. If you truly say you feel about them the way you say you feel about them, that I don't care is not working right now, because actions both by your brothers or yourselves have now resulted in smoke coming onto your wives. So I think you need to put that to the side and really address it and dead it. So she addresses the cheating accusations, and he answered a question with a question. He's like, I can't believe, she's asking about this question. Maybe he meant like, why are you asking me this question on camera? But understand, sir, Maurice, who's always been the good guy, that when you have these kind of issues, in order to not look like Lou and Tiffany, you really don't pretend. You have to address the elephant. You have to address the pink 800-pound elephant in the room, and that is the elephant in the room. So I'm happy that first episode address it. So finally, you know, he's cajoled and finally like, it's not true. Like, I don't know if anybody really cares at this point. It's not true anymore. The fact that it really looks like you were caught in a lie, and I guess eventually as time goes on, more things go on, I suppose social media will address it and be clear that you were caught in a lie. No one's saying, I don't think that necessarily means you were complicit. You may have been complicit, but I don't think you know, your presence there says you're complicit, but it says you're aware of what was going on. Because you can't necessarily control a grown man. You're not there to control a grown man who is your friend. But you can tell your friend that, you know what, I don't agree with what you're doing. And, you know, maybe choose not to be in his presence. Or maybe choose not to be in his presence. Choose to be in his presence and not acknowledge the other person who is contesting or affecting your friend's marriage, because ultimately your friend is an adult and he knows what he needs to do. He knows the right thing to do. All right, next scene we have it opening up with Destiny and Tisha. It's funny how an episode, a whole season changes things. That Destiny and Tisha actually, well, for filming purposes, Destiny and Tisha are good friends, and so it opens up with, you know, Destiny in a booth singing. I have nothing to say about the singing. I don't know. I wasn't really listening, but I was like, okay. What I was paying attention to in this scene was, you know, my girl wearing this nice. I like her. I like the outfit, like her J's and the, you know, the now pleather pants that everyone wears. But anyway, I digress. So going into the purpose of the film of this scene. So here they're here to tell us that Destiny and Mel are still not talking. There's some beef going on, but I think almost more importantly, to kind of sway into another direction, something she mentioned, she made mention, and I think that's my understanding what she was saying here, that she had to get public assistance after the divorce. And, you know, if that is true, that's kind of sad. That's kind of sad, you know. I don't know if it's that their business as a whole, you know, her ex's in business also was affected, so he wasn't able to help out. But she's saying that in the midst, and that does, for regular folks who aren't on TV, who just live everyday lives with a regular job, and regular job could be anything, but you're just not in the spotlight. You depend on an income. We're coming out, well, we're still coming out of a pandemic, as well as coming out of a divorce. Typically, when you come out of divorce, depending on who's earning, and even if you are earning an income, typically as a couple you have, you know, two incomes coming in, and then it kind of drops to one. And typically, more often than not, the responsibility of the child rearing does fall on the woman. And if the child is now living with the woman, depending on how well off the man is or the ex is, the expenses and the cost of living falls on her too. And that's what it sounds like. She wears a good game face, because last season we didn't know. She was looking right, she was talking right. And you know what? And that's how we as black women operate. You don't know what we're going through, but we're going to show up and show out. Like she had a face on, body right, like she was coming. She brought it last, and that's, from what I'm hearing, that was when she was still kind of in it or coming out of it. So I have compassion for her. It's like as the seasons have, because I think she's 2 seasons and this is her 3rd season now, I'm beginning to see, and I think that's what happens when you see people, I'm beginning to see another aspect of Destiny, like with some respect, because she definitely reflects what black women go through. And that's why I say I hate the moniker strong black woman, because strong black woman means AKA you're living a hard life and you're suffering and you're carrying this all by yourself. Nobody trying to be strong black woman anymore. Like, we're looking for the soft life. Well, maybe not the soft life, because soft life doesn't build character, but at the same time, you know, it just looks like we're the ones walking around with the stuff on our back. So I guess they gave us some detail. I don't know, we'll probably see, but what I'm hearing in terms of the rift between her and Mel, Destiny is saying that she and Tisha were catching up on parts of the reunion that she missed. Of course, Mel has another version of it, but Destiny's version is as they were catching up, then Mel came, and Mel is now upset with her because she was discussing this with what she, in quotes, her enemy, sworn enemy. I don't know, I'm like something about enemy, you know, discussing her with her enemy. But as we go forward into the next scene, we have Kimmy meeting up with Mel. And like I said earlier on, I really feel like both Martell and Mel are enjoying the fact that other cast members are getting some heat and some smoke that is, you know, isn't the positive love and the hugs that they get. So, you know, she decides to meet up with, you know, Kimmy, this, you know, to break this down. So Mel's version is that she could hear them say stuff about, yeah, she's a Scorpion, blah blah blah. So Mel is saying that she heard some negative stuff, and then she went to the door to tell him, you might as well keep your voice down, I can hear everything you're saying. So you know, There's Mel's side, there's Destiny and Tisha's side, and somewhere in between that is the truth. Can Mel and Destiny recover from this? Before this happened, they had some other business, some other issues, so they may not. What's her name is hinting at? Destiny's been hinting at the fact that this is a common pattern with Mel, that she's not able to keep close friends. I'm not there. I don't know. I'm not aware of them privately, so I can't really say that is true. But that's something to consider. But I can see, this is what I noticed as she was talking with Kimmy, is as she's asking her questions, whether with, I don't know what she says, she trusts him or she believes it, there's like a second energy where, like, it looks like Mel is looking at Kimmy like, oh really, you believe him, huh? Like almost like like it's not, I don't feel like her meeting up with Kimmy was as a sincere embrace. It feels almost like jeering, like, you're gonna see what I went through. Like I come up with the term misery loves company. That's what it looked like. She wasn't there to just, it didn't look like she was just there to comfort Kimmy, and no, she was there to film a scene, but she already feel like, you're gonna see where I went, like almost wanting company in what she had experienced, as opposed to hoping that her friend's marriage is not about to break up based on this story. That's the energy I got, both on how she was looking and how she was in her confessional. Like she know all the way Kimmy's like there for Kimmy. Like she did. It looks like she's there to have a giggle. And so that, for me, that as a warning, I think us, not even women, as people, beware. The people, you hear this, particularly in Nigeria, we hear this a lot. People that are around you saying they're petting you because you're going through something, a lot of them may not be there to pet you. They're there to get a first, row seat. Those expensive seats in a basketball game, the front row seat to your agony and your pain. That's what it looked like. Like she wanted a front row seat to see what the others are going through. People, beware. People are calling you to ask you what's going on. Be very careful who you're telling your stuff to, who you're discussing, who you're opening your heart to, because they may not be there to comfort you. They may be there just to take your tea and take it somewhere else. Spill it, talk about, because she on one hand is talking about, somebody doing that to her, but she don't seem that comforting sitting down with Kimmy at this table. All right, so we got to the scene. Scott dinner. Let's call it the Scott dinner. So Micah's older than both Maurice and Marceau, and so he invites the boys over because he can see his picture that Marceau posted. We've got all these M's. Like, I hope if I don't say the wrong one, you know who I'm talking about anyway, because they're all different. So he's calling his brothers to to kind of chop it up over this picture that Marceau posted because he was cracking a joke. And so they finally get down to the whole thing. And Marceau said he posted it because he wanted to have a chuckle. Like, you're using social media, such a powerful tool, knowing that and another thing, I think Marceau was just trying to bring Maurice down into the mud with him, because Marceau used to like getting all the smoke. He said, I always get the smoke. People don't like me, so he didn't want to be the only one not liked. I can see that seems to be a theme, because Martel too trying to bring people down, like, come and enjoy the smoke with me as well. So he's saying he just wanted a moment, that it was a joke. But he says, this guy, do not Marceau smart as hell. He says that he didn't realize the magnitude of him posting that picture, what it would mean. That brings out a few things. So Kimmy mentions, she says that, realize that what you did doesn't just affect, Maurice, because at the end of the day, you got most of the negative blowback. But in effect, that means Tisha's also affected, so she's going to get some of that blowback. So always, she's trying to tell him to always understand that some of the actions he makes, that he thinks are a moment, that is actually causing more grief and more pain for his wife. Because everyone talking about, everybody looking at Tisha's side eye. That's it. People looking at her side eye, like, they're just looking at her. I mean, Tisha has, Nigerians say she has her own. Tisha has her own things we could pick on for, but association with Marso don't help the smoke that she's going to get anyway, because Tisha does act immature. Tisha does act like everything about her. Tisha does not think logically and think things through. Tisha think about me. So a lot of times when she does her stuff, she ain't that clear thinking either. So some of the smoke she gets, rightfully so, she gets that smoke for the way she behaves, particularly with her back and forth with Kimmy. Like, so there's an expectation, but the expectation she has of others, she doesn't have of Marso. Maybe she knows Marso is not going to pay her any mind. So definitely Tisha has her own, but the stuff that Marso brings into it now, you know, it brings that smoke for her to multiples of 10. So unfortunately, and so what Kimmy is now trying to bring to him is like, okay, you know what, it's not just this haha moment you're thinking of, it's not just coming to you, it's coming to Tisha as well. But I think more importantly is like, what kind of breakdown do they have that, and I know siblings fight, I know families fight, but you want to be fighting in public. And then he had mentioned something as well, I think at the last thing he said, you know, that he thought it was going to be funny because he thought that, you know, he thinks that getting in trouble with your wife is funny, ha ha ha. On so many levels that sounds crazy, but that's Marso. Like, I think once we've gotten used to Marso, so I'm not even surprised. I'm just looking at him like, where's he coming from? What's he planning?
A match at my house, I'm burning yours down.
It seems like when he says something, when he does something, there's an ulterior motive. He doesn't just do things for fun. No, he really looks like someone who takes a risk and makes these calculated risks. Episode 1 came out with a bang. This picture, I hope they don't use this picture talk. This shouldn't last 5 episodes, but as it's unfolding, look at other things that are happening. Anyway, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Lola over and out.